Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This is GemCG, and we're going to do part 2 of our treasure chest modeling. So there's quite a few more details than we finished in the last one, so let's get into those in this one. And you notice that I'm basically restarting because it's not the exact same as this one here. But yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. Okay, so let's work on all these details. So there is like a problem here that you may have noticed in the last video. Because this lip wasn't connected to the lid, or I guess this top lip, it never got beveled. So we're going to select all these corners and give them a quick bevel. Looks like they're all selected. And I think the bevel was 0.009. I could probably go back and check, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Just eyeball it and then fix it manually. Okay, that looks pretty close, right? It's not exact, but that's okay. Good enough for our purposes. All right. Looks good. Everything's a little more, everything's beveled anyway. Okay. Yep, didn't miss anything. Yeah, looks all right. So let's move on now. I'm going to create those, I guess, details or ridges around the top. I guess they're supposed to be like bars for extra rigidity of the chest. I guess that's what I was going for. And here you're going to see me fail at selection again because Maya has me triggered or trained that you can select face loops in, any way you want. But Blender just doesn't want me to do it. I don't know. So we'll just manually select all these faces. And yeah, got them all. Just extrude this out. And turn off snapping because that's going to screw it up. Yeah, that's not quite what I want. So undo that. And let's try extruding with the normals. Is that what I want? Nope. Yeah. That's not really going with the normals of the side faces, but I guess it's going with the majority, which is pointless. So we'll just scale out along the y-axis. Yeah. A little bit more. It's not quite the same. Yeah, it's not too much. That's good. That's because of that angle. The slanted parts are a little bit wider. Okay. These faces, we don't need them. Both sides. There we go. Now let's pull this down so that it's snapped to the lip. You don't see any gaps there or anything. Select edge snapping. other side. Okay. Make sure I can't see anything. Might still be a gap there, but it's minuscule. Okay. Now, yeah, I guess I should bevel it. I will select these edges. I'm just double clicking on the edge because this works for edge loops. And then it doesn't have to be exactly the same as everything else because it's a smaller detail, so I want the bevel to be smaller. You can do what you want. You can make it uniform if you like. There we go. Kind of like that. Alright. Checking all my edges to make sure I didn't miss anything. And now I'm going to have to fail at selecting this again. See, I don't know what just happened there, because that's what I want, kind of, but it doesn't work how I want it to. Yeah, I'm just more selection fail. I should probably edit all this out, but yeah, just do it manually. Because we want to put this on the other side too, and we want it to be exactly the same. See my camera snapping like that? I don't know if you could always do this in Blender, but when you hold Alt instead of Shift, because I constantly am hitting the wrong button, it snaps to, I guess, the perfect view here, or if it's top or side or whatever, it just snaps whatever's closest, and that's kind of useful. I used to really like that when I was sculpting in ZBrush. I'll have to remember that, or at least try and use it when I want instead of accidentally all the time. Okay, got everything selected. Now I just need to do Shift D, duplicate, and then right click so it just snaps back there, and then G and X. And that way it just moves along the x-axis. And I think that's not quite there. Just drag it over a little bit more. Oh, now we want to make sure you hit G and X, so it only moves on the x-axis. Oh, it's snapping on. Okay. And I think right around here, my cat jumps on my shoulder. Nope. Okay. And there we go. Okay. So now we got those. Looks okay. I think this just is taller than the other one. No, yeah, I think so. Okay. So, the next thing to work on is maybe some hinges for the lid. I'll just add a sphere or a cylinder, and I don't want to do it like this because I still am edit mode, still in edit mode. for the chest's main body, and that makes the cylinder the same object. And you see I'm trying to figure out where the cylinder is because it's not showing up. So I'm just going to do that. You can kind of see the, there we go, now it's gone. Now I'm going to go into object mode, and now I'm going to add my cylinder. So it's a separate object. There we go. Don't need these end gun faces, so let's delete them. There. Now we've got a basic cylinder to work with. I'm going to rotate it on the y-axis 90 degrees. Make sure snapping's off. Oh, first I'll drag it out from inside the chest and then scale it down to a more reasonable size. Change the proportion a little bit, so scale it up on the Z. Yeah, like that. Oh, there we go. Now, oh, too much. Okay. Now, I'm going to rotate it on the y-axis 90 degrees. You can do that by just doing R, Y, and then 90. And you'll see I think I typed 80 there, which is why it didn't go perfectly. Try again. There we go. So now it's perfectly horizontal, and I can start making this look more like a hinge. Alright, so go into edit mode. And I will fail to select this edge because I am in face select mode. Again. There we go. Select that edge, select the other ring of edges, I mean. And we'll extrude it in. So E extrude, and then just move it and right click off, and now scale so that you get a nice uniform edge in there. But it's going to also kind of go in a bit, so I'm going to grab it. I'm going to scale it out along the x-axis and turn snapped edges on. So there we go. That brings it out a bit. Nice and flat now. Okay. And we'll use just this side and we'll extrude it out. Hit E to extrude, right click. Oh, I think I have snapping on still. Turn that off. And then GX to drag it perfectly. Yep. Like that. And we'll just extrude this in. And kind of want to create a little bevel, I guess, so I'll bring that out. I don't know how I beveled that edge, but anyway, then we'll extrude this in and merge all these points by just hitting Alt M and then clicking at center. There we go. So now we have our little cap to our hinge. Alright, now select this ring. and extrude it out a little bit. Well, there we go. Remember G and then X, so you can grab it and have it sort of move uniformly along an axis. Alright, so that's good enough for a half. I think my cat is on my shoulder again. Okay. Now let's select all these faces. Well, not all these faces. Let's select the bottom faces. I think I did 4 or 5 of them. Yeah, 5 of them. It doesn't have to be the perfect bottom because this is going to angle. Alright, we'll inset those faces because I don't want it to be the full length of the cylinder. And doesn't look like it. No, it did, but I want more of an inset on the horizontal point there. There we go. It's better. Okay. Now we will extrude this down. And we'll just do it along the normal because it is slightly angled, which is not what I was intending, but I liked the idea of it after I did it. There we go. Like that. Nope, like that. I think I said in my last video, I recorded myself modeling and I'm talking over it now. But yeah. Okay. I think I'm being distracted by my cat again. Nope, okay. Scaling on the z-axis so you can make those faces perfectly flat. Which I do a lot when I have a slightly curved or wobbly edge of faces or something. I'll just scale it along the perfect axis, like whatever it is, usually z, and that makes it perfectly flat. I think I rotated that 45 degrees. You can just do R and then 45, and I think I had to do negative 45 to go the way I wanted. So you just do R, then the dash, and then type 45, which is really useful to get exact rotations and stuff like that. Here I fail trying to grab it along the y-axis, but I keep hitting X because I don't know what axis I want to grab. You can see the yellow line right there. It's the y-axis. There we go. Well, no, I just grabbed it. What's going on? Alright, now we got it. G, Y, and then you can move it along the y-axis perfectly. Here I am scaling Y so I can make that perfectly flat that way. Just do it a couple of times to get it nice and perfect. Alright, I've got my little spot to fasten it on, and then we'll delete those faces so we don't need them. They're going to be facing into nothing. Alright, so I've got half of my hinge. Back to object mode, and we will duplicate and rotate it so we have a perfect copy going for the opposite side of the hinge. So Shift D, then right click so you don't move it out of place, And now R and 180. I think I did 190, so we'll try that again. Just right click to undo, or I guess not confirm. And try that again. R and then 180. Perfect. And enter so that it does keep it. Now we can GX to move it along the x-axis there. Just, yeah, that looks fine. And we don't need that. Those faces are Z fighting, so on this object we'll delete them. I hate the lasso tool until I don't. Sometimes it's great, and then my shaky hands ruin it like that. So switch the box select. Perfect. And delete. Hit X, and then you go delete, and then faces. Okay. There we go. Now I've got Hinge. Nice and simple. Nothing too complicated. This is a beginner's video. Alright. Looks okay. Nothing special. Yeah, I might actually make a better Hinge. Now we'll just go with it. Okay, just move it along the y-axis to try and get it closer without going crazy. If you just hit G, it'll move in whatever direction in space. And you've got just the camera view, so it's kind of all over the place. So I like to make big movements along an axis in the direction I want. And then I can play with it more in a more controlled way. Okay, those look a little small. Not quite in the center either. Scale those up. Not going to work on that tiny little, or that huge lid is not going to be held by that tiny little hinge. Oh. And here, I am hoping, or I wasn't sure, this is my first time trying it, I wondered if I put these into a collection, if I could scale everything in a collection uniformly, which you can't. So I am going to make collections and put them in there and try and scale it. Nothing happens. So can't use collections like that. In Maya, you'd make a group, and that would give you keep them separate, but let them be scaled and manipulated uniformly. I think you can do that in Blender. I ended up just joining them because it's easy enough to separate them, because they are not merged together. They're just two unconnected pieces that I joined into one group, but I can just, or one object, but I can separate it later. So, yeah, this is going to be a really long video. Yeah, I'm still trying to make the whole collection thing work. You can add things to collections this way, by the way, going add collection instance. Although I wonder, are you adding an instance of the object to that collection? Or that's probably exactly what you're doing, so that's not at all what I wanted to do. There. Alright, so I just joined it. It's fine. That'll work. Now I can scale them up together uniformly. Here we are. That's a better size. It's not centered, so let's bring it down a bit. It's not to be perfect, but just better. I hope you can't hear my notification on my phone. It's going off. Somebody's trying to get to me. Okay. So now I think I'll duplicate this one, Shift D, and drag it over along the x-axis. We're going to need 2 hinges, at least, and maybe 3. No, just 2. And we'll eyeball its placement, kind of like there. Yeah. And it's a little over, but oh well. And there we go. All right. Got that hinge done. Okay, so now let's move on to the front because we have to make the lock for the chest. Make another cylinder here. Again, delete these n-gons on the top and bottom. There's a plane. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, you totally can. Okay, now we'll rotate that along the x-axis 90 degrees. And drag that forward. And, oh my god. Okay, I just got interrupted. Alright, we're going to scale this down to size, right about there. Place it in the center of the front of the treasure chest. And let's just hide the chest so we can grab this edge a little easier. This ring of edges. And we'll grab those and move them up along the y-axis. And now we need the chest again. Okay. It's way too thick. Let's move that right in, just inside the edge, the outer edge there. And we'll bring this in. So yeah, that's more like it. So that'll be the kind of ring that the lock will click into. Yeah, just scale that out so it's like a cone with the top of it cut off. And we'll drag it out because I actually want to extrude it out. Just hit E and then right click to undo that and then scale it out. And now extrude it in. So now it looks a little better that way. Okay. And I think this is where I use the Solidify modifier, which is a really cool, quick way to add thickness to an object. So just go to modifiers there, hit Solidify, and in the thickness here you can adjust how thick. And that looks about right. Perfect. Okay. Oh, no. I'm adjusting it some more. There we go. Alright, now we're going to move on to the actual lock. So I'm just going to grab this ring of faces. I think I just double clicked and it worked, which really annoys me. I don't understand why that works sometimes and not all the time. But anyway, just happened to work that time. So Shift D, and we'll grab it along the y-axis to bring it forward. And you'll see that the Solidify modifier is applied to this as well because this is still one object. So I'm going to separate this piece by going to Object, Separate, and then Selection. There, now it's a different object, so I'll just go back out to Object Mode, select that one, and I can apply, or actually I'm getting rid of the Solidify modifier because I don't want it. And I can apply that one because I don't need to edit that anymore. Okay. So the little lock mechanism has a part that goes into that I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, the lock hook or something. But now I'm just kind of figuring out how I want this to work. But anyway, it goes into there, and there's a little part that when the key's turned on, it takes a little tongue in or out so that it locks in there. I'll probably have to do it. I'll do another video where I make that mechanism, but that's not happening in this one. It's already so long. Alright, so we'll extrude that in because that's where the tongue to lock it in extends from. It's that part. Okay, make sure it's not intersecting anywhere. And bring it in a little more. And then we'll just extrude that in and scale it to merge all those verts and make a solid face. I think I'll put a lock in that space or something that looks like one. Okay, let's select this edge and extrude it back. And we'll do that along the y-axis uniformly, like so. And then scale it out. So I kind of want it to follow the shape of the lock latch thing. Probably should have researched. I had a a chest as a kid with a lock like this. I should have researched what it's called and all that stuff, but I'm an artist, not an engineer, so whatever. Alright, we're going to use the Solidify modifier again here. And I think I just kind of make it the same thickness as the other thing and call it. Yeah. And now we'll apply that. Oh, I'm going to scale it down a little bit. And then we'll apply Solidify modifier so that I can edit the faces it created. And I will figure out right now that I have to apply it to do that. There we go. Back into object mode, edit mode, and we'll just bring that forward, so that gives me a nice surface to extrude from to bring the arm that connects the lock up to the hinge on the lid. So these faces, I did 5 of them, 6 of them, so I have it nice and centered on the top. This time it matters. And then just extrude straight up. About there, looks fine. It's intersecting the lip, so we're going to have to take the whole thing and move it out a bit. Alright. Go back into object mode and just bring it out enough so it's not intersecting the lip anymore. That looks good. And it still looks like it's connected or intersecting the latch thing down there. Okay, so now we got to connect this arm to the top lid. Add an edge loop by hitting Control R. And I don't want it there, but I also don't want it curved. So I'm going to, while it's still selected, hit Scale along the Z a couple times there to try and flatten it out perfectly. That should be good. And we'll drag this up about here. Okay. And now I'm going to grab this edge and sort of bring it down to create an angle. So I'm going to extrude those faces back to meet the top lid. Selection in Blender. I'm going to figure it out for the next video. Alright, we'll extrude this and make it intersect the lid there. And we'll scale it out so it kind of flares at the top, because that just looks cool, I think. Yeah. Like that. Alright. And I'm going to do another edge loop, just using the tool this time. Click and then drag it up. See how it gets a lot flatter when it's close to that flat edge, which is nice, but I still flatten it a bit more. Scale, Z, and then a couple times. Alright, and now I'm going to delete this ring of faces because I'm going to put the hinge in between these two parts. Okay. I'll drag this down because that's way too narrow. Alright. Like hinge can easily go in there. I think I am going to pilfer one of these hinges to start, get started a little quicker. I do that a lot when I'm modeling. If there's a piece I've already created, I'm going to not try and create it again from scratch if I'm going to use or make something similar. I think it's called kit bashing or something like that. Okay, so I don't want these arms here because it's going to connect completely top and bottom of the hinge instead of angling it to the side there. So we'll delete these faces. Object mode, and then hit 3 for face mode. Make sure I have see-through on. Alright, delete those faces and these. There we go. Now I've got a basic hinge I can work with. Now I just gotta place it and scale it because it might not. It looks way too big. Okay, back into object mode. And let's try and get it centered and placed nicely. Yeah, still scale it down a bit. I'm thinking I might have it come out the edges a bit. I don't know. Probably just going to call it here. It's going to take, this video is already too long. I'm just, next week I will finish this hinge and we will work on other details we're missing. And, you know, the chest has no inside. So we'll probably use the Solidify Modifier again and give it an interior space. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think. Am I speaking too softly, too loudly? Any critique you can give me, just let me know. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks. Bye.